My mother has never been so easy to deal with. Even though she's baking nice cookies for me now, but she could be screaming at me 5 seconds later while blasting music on her radio. That's right, my mother has bipolar disorder. She has been having it since I can remember. The first time I had to deal with it was when I was very little. I was all dressed up, ready for school, when she suddenly screamed at me to get out and started hitting me with a wooden spoon. I ran for my life, and just a few minutes later, she came wrapping her arms around me and cried uncontrollably. Little did I know, back then, that it was just the only beginning. Mom would lock me in the room and only allowed me to go to school. I couldn't even sneak out to the bathroom. She would run towards me and scream so loud to the point where my neighbors had to call the police. She would slap me, grab my hair, and drag me to the ground that I had to crawl. She would throw me into the room and slam the door. I was terrified. I would sit in the corner of the room and try to hide myself from her sight, even though I knew it wouldn't really work. She would do those terrible things to me and even forgot, and I had to eat. To eat, I had to hide my food in my drawers when I had a chance and even steal money from her purse to buy food before school. And if when she saw me eating, she would make some comments that would hurt my feelings. "You fat, ungrateful pig," she'd say. How could she do this to me? School was my only escape. I tried to cover the bruises and welts on my body. I was scared that the teachers would ask her about it and I'd get beaten when I got home. Mom told me that I was not allowed to make friends unless they're the ones she picked for me. And you wouldn't believe that those kids are the unfortunate children of her friends that are being treated like me, starved of food, beaten up by their parents. They would come to my house and steal my things, but as you know, I didn't dare argue with my mom or stood up for myself because I know what would come next if I do. Other than the terrible days, there were still some days that Mom seemed okay. The days where she'd help me with homework and let me watch TV without slapping or dragging me. The days that my mom was fine were great days. I was even thinking that maybe my mom was held in captive somewhere, and these brutal aliens who locked her up sent me a demon clone mom. I know, it's crazy, right? Although she might be okay somewhere, I still had to be ready to run before she would turn back to be a demon and start slapping me again. Living with my mom was terrible. I even thought about how to get rid of her. I didn't think I deserved to be treated that way. I was all broken, hurt, and hungry. I wish that at least my dad was there, but sadly, he wasn't in the picture, and it's probably because he sensed how psychotic Mom was and ran away before I was even born. My mother would constantly tell me that I was lucky to be alive and that I should be grateful for having her, that she gave birth to me and raised me. But should I be grateful for this? Should I be grateful for a woman who would grab me by the shirt and lift me off the ground and spit in my face? "I brought you into this world and I can take you out of it." She'd say that and throw me hard down to the floor. What I have told you wasn't the worst day of my life. Until one day, when I was 15. I got home late by 4 minutes, walked back into my house. My mom grabbed me and dragged me to my room. She grabbed my hair and forced me to crawl by her side like a pathetic animal. She told me to scream and howl in pain. My soul was shattered. She grabbed my hair by the fringe and pulled me off the wall and slammed me back into it. I felt a crack. My vision went blur. She was screaming, but I couldn't understand what she was saying anymore. I was in so much pain in every inch of my body. She hit me in the stomach over and over. I gasped and I couldn't breathe. Once she was done, she threw me back into my room. It was getting worse and worse. I don't remember how many times she burst my door open and started kicking me to the point where I would pass out from the pain. I had to drag myself to school. I was in so much pain, so I didn't cover up the bruises and blood well enough like I always did, and my teacher saw it. I was taken from my mom by Child Protective Services. I was all shattered. I was diagnosed with severe PTSD, depression, social anxiety. I had to go through 8 different therapies in the period of 3 years to finally get back up on my feet, to finally feel okay. And I learned that my mom's behavior was not normal and that no parents should treat their children that way. "You were so brave," they said to me. That was the first time someone made a positive comment about me, and it was the first time that I truly felt good about myself. I am a whole new person now. It took me a long time to wake up from the nightmares. I still think about it sometimes, but none of it can affect me anymore. I did see my mom again, though, a few times after I was taken away. My mom is still the same person. She'd still try to hurt my feelings, but the difference is I'm strong now, and I won't let her hurt me again. If you are struggling with the same issue, know that you don't deserve to be treated in a terrible way. Talk to someone about it and get yourself out of there.